Hello and welcome to my coding tutorial. This will be a C++ language tutorial, but it shows some of the basics for any object-oriented coding language. What that means is that the language revolves around creating and manipulating objects to do what you would like. The reason I chose C++ is because it is the language that was used in the introductory courses at my university, but there are many languages to choose from. So let's begin. You will need a compiler if you're following along with this tutorial. I use Visual Studio Enterprise 2015. This was offered through my school and what a lot of my professors suggested I use, but there are a lot of compilers out there. There's a free version of Visual Studio, and there's even a lot of browser compilers that you can use for C++. So if you're using Visual Studio, you'll go to File, New, and Project. And we'll call this C++ Coding Tutorial. I'm going to create an empty project. First thing we'll need to do is create a source file. And you'll want it to be a CPP or a C++ file. All right, so let's get started with coding. The first thing we'll need to do is create the skeleton for the program. So the first part of that is this command, #include iostream. So the reason we use this is it's just telling the compiler to include this package, iostream. And what that does is it allows us to write to the screen, and it allows users to input information that we can then retrieve. So the next part is using namespace std. And again, what that means is it's just telling the compiler to use the standard set of commands or the standard namespace. And the next thing we write is int main. Now what that means, these parentheses mean that this is a function within these brackets here. We call this the main function because this is where the body of your program will be. And it's int, that means it will return an integer. So the next thing we'll do is say return 0. Now, not all compilers require that you do this. Some will do it for you automatically, but it's just telling the compiler that the program did succeed because in C++, 0 is equivalent to true. So the next thing we'll do is the main part of the program here. If you've seen any other coding tutorials, one of the first things that you learn how to code is usually how to print hello world to the screen. So the command to print to the screen is cout, and then you do these little carets, and you can put hello world or whatever else you would like to print to the screen. You'll just need to make sure it's within these quotation marks. Now I'm going to put another caret. I'm going to use the command end line. It's end L. That's a personal preference, but it's up to you if you'd like to include that. Now there's one more thing we have to do before we run the program. Again, you may not have to do this in all compilers, but for Visual Studio I have found that it's easiest if you use the command system pause. Now if you don't use this, the print screen will show up, but it will go away very quickly and you won't get to see what it actually said. So let's run this. You go to debug, start debugging. So this will let you know if you have any errors in your program, and if there are no errors, then it will run the program. All right, there we go, hello world. And this press any key to continue is what comes up because of the system pause command. Just so you know, system pause is not recommended if you are using Linux. Thank you so much for watching my coding tutorial, and I hope you have a lot of fun.